Hello, welcome. This is Africunia Television exclusive interview, and with us connected in the studio is Comrade Anslem Eragbe, the national youth leader of the Labour Party and the senatorial candidate of the Edo Senatorial District, Edo State. It's good to have you with us in the studio, Comrade.
Thank you. I'm Comrade Anslem Eragbe, the national youth leader of Labour Party in Nigeria, and the Edo North senatorial candidate for the party in the 2023 general elections in Nigeria. It is my pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much, Comrade. So we'll get straight to it. Now let's kick off with the problems of Nigeria. That is the insecurities, education, health, and the issue of power supply and also inflation. All of these are pressing problems in Nigeria. So what is the plan of the Labour Party to curb all of these issues mentioned?
Well, thank you. On behalf of the national leadership of the Labour Party, our national chairman, Barrister Julius Abure, on the behalf of members of the Labour Party National Working Committee, on the behalf of our principal presidential candidate, His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi, on the behalf of our vice presidential candidate, His Excellency Senator Yusuf Datti Ahmed Baba, I wish to once again thank you for being on the stage with us, making inquisition about the issues in Nigeria. Obviously, Nigeria is a strategic country. We are 62 years of independence, and we have been faced with a myriad of issues from independence up to date. Ordinarily, it would have been expected that in 62 years, as a people, we would have made tremendous inroads in terms of progress. But the reverse is the case, as it were, really. The issues of insecurity, the issues of the incessant strikes in our tertiary institutions, the failing healthcare provision and services in our nation, the decay and dilapidating infrastructure. All of these are issues that cause for concerns and worry, not just to us as a people, but to the global community. So basically, these are issues the Labour Party desires to confront headlong by providing solutions. Again, we have taken a critical look at these issues and the history of how we came about the present state of affairs in our nation. Maladministration basically has been at the center of all of these issues. We have had people who had little or no capacity in terms of managerial abilities, ultimately in leadership position, and have such mismanaged the affairs of our land. So what we need to do deliberately now is to begin to get men and women of character, men and women of integrity and capability, people with proven track records in government and governance to begin to take leadership in our land. But to do this, fundamentally, the youth of our country have woken up to a realization that they need to be active players, because democracy, they say, is government of the people, for the people, and by the people. So the people, the youth of our country, that are in simple majority, have risen up today, particularly with recourse to the NSAS struggle of 2020, to say they desire a new country, they desire a new kind of leadership. Now, insecurity. For us, the root cause of insecurity in our country is the enormity of the idle hands in our land. It's a country of over 200 million people. The people are not engaged. You have less than 1% of 200 million people in Nigeria engaged productively. Now, it is this lack of engagement that has resulted to a situation where the people have taken to themselves or taken to all manner of social vices, criminality, insurgency, militancy. All of these are issues that we desire to really nip in the bud by engaging all of this and productive. So what the Labour Party will do in the days ahead is to ensure that we bring out policies where, for our presidential candidate, he has made it clear that the SDGs, there are 17 of them, Sustainable Development Goals. These are goals adopted by the United Nations for implementation by nations by way of actions to enable to get the people out of poverty, get the people out of hunger, develop the healthcare sector, advance the educational system, develop infrastructure, ensure that the environment is protected. So what we will do basically, we work in line of these SDGs by way of effective implementation. So if we begin all of this and begin to take the youth of our country, begin to engage them productively, because this is the issue. Nigeria is a country of over 923,000 square kilometers. And what that means is the land here is enormous, it's massive, but we have not engaged in agricultural mechanization. We have not engaged in plant husbandry, animal husbandry processes. So these are issues. We have a huge burden of solid mineral deposits in Nigeria that is untapped, unexploited. The industrial base of our nation is at its lowest ebb. I mean, for a country of over 200 million people with about the richest endowment on the surface of planet Earth, what do we need to do? We only need managerial abilities, the goodwill of those in government to begin to apply the resources of the people in all of this area. So for us, these are the things we are going to do, beginning with the deployment of the small, the medium, the micro, small, and medium scale enterprises. These are short-time measures of engaging the people and obviously getting them out of poverty. That way, the peace of our country will begin to be reestablished. So I think at this point, I will pause for now, even though you have asked me a lot of questions. I will take them one after the other.
Okay, Comrade, the Labour Party have never won the presidential election in Nigeria. Now, as it seems in the past and now. Now, the Labour Party is also not one of the leading political parties like, the APC and the PDP. So what extraordinary does your candidate possess that can make him win the 2023 polls?
Well, basically, like I said earlier, democracy. The simple definition of democracy is government of the people, for the people, and by the people. And the people, normally in democracy, is those who constitute simple majority. And the simple majority of the people in our country is the youth of our country. They constitute a minimum of 70%, which means we have over 140 million people as the youth of this country. Now, what we will do really is, again, the people have begun a new awareness. It is their creative energies, it is their ingenuity, really, that we are banking on as a political party. Because if the people have decided to identify with a man, today that man is His Excellency Peter Obi. He's a man with proven track records in Nigeria, a man who has been the executive governor of Anambra State for 8 years. He's a man with impeccable character, a man, of transparent honesty, a man that is accountable. Now, these are hallmark of leadership. Today, the youth of this country have risen up to say, this is the man we desire to become the next president of Nigeria. So, and by extension, if you have followed keenly the recent registration of eligible voters in Nigeria, most recently, you find out that over 12 million eligible voters were added to the over 84 million earlier registered voters. Today we have over 96 million voters. And by statistics and record, you will have noticed that over 80% of the recently registered 12 million voters are youth. And this youth basically came out for the first time to register because for them, it has to be Peter Obi or nobody else. Again, let me quickly say that today, the Labour Party is the most composed political party anywhere in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That is to say, because the Nigerian Labour Movement, the NLC, which is the Nigerian Labour Congress, the TUC, the Trade Union Congress, the trade unions, and the Political Commission of the Labour Movement today are in sync with the Labour Party. 7 other political parties came together in this alliance most recently to adopt the Labour Party as the third force, alternative political party or platform for the 2023 general elections in Nigeria. What that connotes is to say today, the people are resolved in their numbers, in their mass to say it is Labour Party. So by way of strategy, again, we have deployed what is called the Labour Party National Mobilization website. It's an online platform with 6 portals. Now, what we are doing with this portal is to begin the process of galvanizing the mass of our people through effective registration on that platform. Now, you must be an eligible voter to have access to successfully register on this portal. Now, when you register successfully on this portal, the portal issues a feedback by way of a membership card with 6 unique identification numbers. And the first ID on this portal or this card will be a national ID. This ID will tell us effectively how many eligible voters there are on our database that have indicated interest to vote for the Labour Party, primarily for our presidential candidate, His Excellency Peter Obi. The second ID, again, will tell us, it's a state ID. It will tell us how many eligible voters across each state of the Federation. There are 36 states and the FCT in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. There's what we call, the third ID is called the local government ID. Again, that ID will tell us how many people in each of the 777 local governments in Nigeria have indicated interest to vote for the Labour Party for the senatorial candidates, the member House of Representative candidates, and the state assembly candidates. The fourth ID is called a ward ID. The fifth ID is called a polling unit ID. Mind you, there are 176,864 polling units in Nigeria. So this ID is able to place every eligible voter against its polling unit across 176,864 polling units in Nigeria. That way, Labour Party is able to know specifically the number of persons that have identified to be our supporters and to vote for us at all levels. Now, the sixth ID is called a VIN ID, a Voters Identification Number ID. Again, this is an ID that was given by the INEC, the Independent National Electoral Commission, to every eligible voter in Nigeria. So statistically, we have database now that will enable us to do all of this analysis and to make projections effectively ahead of the day of elections. So in all of this, the labor movement has its political commission across the 774 local governments in Nigeria. Again, by structure, the Labour Party structurally is made up of the National Working Committee, where I belong. I am one of the National Working Committee members of the party. Now, we have what is called the State Executive Council of the party. So in each of the 36 states and the FCT, we have what is called the State Executive Council of the party, made up of the party leadership at that level. Again, there are 774 local governments. Today, we have in existence the local government executive council structure of the Labour Party across the 774 local governments. Again, similarly, we have what is called the ward executive. We have them across the 8,815 political wards in Nigeria. Now, above all, we have what is called today the support group structures, made up of the support groups, the CSOs, the NGOs, the unions, associations. Now, these are spirited groups and individuals who believe in the personality and capacity of our presidential candidate, and by extension, every other candidate that the Labour Party has fielded for the 2023 general election. Now, in terms of structure, further, on the 20th of this month, September 2022, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, will unveil the list of successful candidates. Again, here, the Labour Party has fielded candidates across all elective offices in Nigeria for the 2023 elections, the presidency, the state governors and their deputies, the senators. There are 109 of them, for which I am one of them to be unveiled. There are 360 members, House of Representatives, and for each of the local government for the state assembly. So in the days ahead, from the 20th of this month, 2 weeks time thereabout, a massive structure will have been unveiled far ahead of campaigns. We are riding on the energies, the capacity and ability of the people that are unanimous in their decision to enthroning the Labour Party as the party to be in government 2023. I thank you.
Okay, from what you mentioned, there is an obvious structure in the Labour Party. So why have we had talks and issues of the Labour Party, not having structure to win this election, especially from the opposition?
Thank you. We rest assured that today the opposition, even the ruling APC, and every other political party that is not in alliance with the Labour Party today is scared of the obvious reality. So the much they can do for now is to begin to engage this high level of propaganda, to begin to imagine that the Labour Party does not have structure. Mind you, Labour Party was registered by the Nigerian Labour Congress in 2003. Now, Labour Party is one of the oldest political parties in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But the challenge we have had over time before now is because of the disagreement in-house. So the labor movement, the parent body disagreed with those who operated the political party structure over time until some of us came on board most recently. But what we did, obviously, was to return home. We had to engage the leadership of the Nigerian labor movement, the NLC, the TUC. We came into this alliance to say, look, let us come back home. So it is this understanding that brought us together once more. Today, the labor movement has now realigned itself with its own political party, the Labour Party. But of course, in 2003, when the labor movement registered the party, then it was Party for Social Democracy. But in 2004, in the convention of the labor movement, the convention of the NLC, the name was changed to Labour Party. So today, the issue of structures, just like I rolled up earlier, is obvious from what I have said today that the most composed political structure anywhere today in Nigeria is the Labour Party. So again, I want to quickly say, the opposition parties may say they have more buildings. If that is what they mean by structures, well, we can agree with them to the extent that, yes, because they have mismanaged our common patrimony. Of course, if we ask them to account for how they came about all of these buildings, they are laying claims to. That may be another issue for another day. They can claim to have so many buildings in the country, which they ordinarily will not have been able to acquire under a due process. But notwithstanding, if it is the people that originally constitute the structure, the intellectual capacity, the managerial capacity, the administrative prowess, all of the human mobilization factors as it affects political engagement, be rest assured that the Labour Party today is the leading party in Nigeria. And that point is about to be proven a few months ahead as we prepare for the 2023 general elections in Nigeria.
Okay, now, speaking about preparing for the general elections, let's move to campaign. So what preparations are being made to kick off campaign for the 2023 presidential election?
Well, normally there's what we call presidential campaign organization for every election. Now, the Labour Party, just like every other party, is about to unveil its presidential campaign structure. So as I'm talking to you now, the leadership of the party and the presidential campaign organization have prepared details for the presidential campaign organization to be unveiled. So I'm saying this with respect to the extent of preparation because these are the preparations towards the campaigns. Again, committees are being set up and being inaugurated. Only yesterday or the day before yesterday, the national leadership of the party headed by Barrister Julius Abure inaugurated the Diaspora Committee for the Presidential Campaign Organization. That committee has been charged with responsibility of bringing into the fold from the diaspora countries across the globe, the different diaspora country team to work with the committee that is set up. Now, on a daily basis, committees are being inaugurated as preparations towards the commencement of campaign on the 28th of September. So we have equally moved partially now into our presidential campaign headquarters. And all of these structures are being set up across the 36 states, the 774 local governments, the 8,850 political wards. Now, the manifesto, obviously, of the Labour Party, which predominantly would be hinged on the 70 SDGs for implementation, will be unveiled. The critical strategy for deployment, will be made available to the globe very soon. So for us as a party, be rest assured that we are good to go, except that we are marking time in line with the schedules of INEC activities, for which campaign will begin effectively on the 28th of this month September 2022. So the formation of the campaign organization, the campaign DG, the team, the various persons to occupy the various strategic positions are being nominated to be announced effectively. Again, we are aware a lot of fundings are required for mobilization activities. Again, in the days ahead, we have developed the funding platform, which is attached to the National Mobilization website to be unveiled very soon. So locally and in the diaspora, it's expected that spirited Nigerians who believe in the cause of this struggle will be able to we have the opportunity of making their own token of support to this struggle to reclaim our nation in this rescue mission that we have embarked upon.
Okay, Comrade, earlier you mentioned we have more of youth involved in 2023 politics. Now, can you share with us the statistics of youth that are ready to vote for your candidate?
Yes, basically from the statistics, the INEC database, we are aware that over 76 million Nigerians are eligible voters who will be voting in the 2023 general election. Now, the reality of that is a simple majority of that number constitutes the percentage of the youth population in Nigeria, not less than 75% of that number. Now, the confidence that we have ahead of the election is to say not less than 75 million of this registered voter who by demography constitute the youth fold. Again, 70–80% of that number are very much disposed to the presidential candidate of the Labour Party and the Labour Party as a political party. Again, herein is a party that has set out in clear terms an agenda for engaging the youth of this country, productivity optimization. Remember, I said earlier in the course of my preliminary discussions to say, basically what we have done is we have designed the first set of 5 million productive jobs for engaging the youth of this country, primarily. So we can say this authoritatively. As we roll out now, the economic engagement activities, particularly for young Nigerians, will be unveiled. And between now in this month of September to February, March 2023, again, then you can ask me, and I will show you evidence to say the Labour Party for the first time in the history of this country has engaged a minimum of 5 million Nigerians productively. So this is the scheme we are coming with. Of course, you know what Labour Party stands for is labor, is productivity, is dignity. So this is the hallmark we are coming with.
Your party presidential candidate is from the southeast region of Nigeria, while the vice presidential candidate is from the north. So how do you plan to get votes from other regions, especially the northern part of the country? Do you have strategies put in place, or you're just hoping?
Well, thank you very much. The good thing about Nigeria is a cosmopolitan society. Now, again, Nigeria was made up of, Nigeria is an amalgamated country. It has two distinct ends, the northern part and the southern part, then called the Northern Protectorate and the Southern Protectorate. Now, today, we are a country with effect from 1914 amalgamation. And again, because I said Nigeria is a cosmopolitan society, now, again, there are 6 geopolitical zones in Nigeria. We have in the southern part of Nigeria, the south-south, the southeast, the southwest. Our presidential candidate is from the southeast geopolitical zone. Now, in the north, we have the north-central, the northwest, and the northeast. Our vice presidential candidate is from the northwest. Now, the northwest, by number, numerically, registered the highest voters in this country. So I'm trying to give you a very clear analysis to say strategically, the vice presidential candidate of the Labour Party is from the northwest, from where ideally the most votes in the Federal Republic of Nigeria, were recorded by the INEC records. Again, our vice presidential candidate is an academic It's a man that owns 2 private universities, unlike no other in the country. It's a man who had been a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. This is a man of proven integrity and capacity, a man of character. Now, this is a man the youth of this country predominantly are routing for. Now, when you talk about structure, again, like I said, the Labour Party has its structure embedded across the 36 states and the FCT, the 774 local government, the 8,850 political wards. If you have looked, since the emergence of our vice presidential candidate, you will agree with me, if you have followed the activities, even of the support groups, notwithstanding that the campaigns have not begun. Today, all the activities predominantly that have been engaged in Nigeria by these groups are 80–90% of the Labour Party extraction. So what this means is the Labour Party is already on ground. The people are already in sync with the party. All of these engagements are already ongoing, both at the stakeholders level and at the voters level. But again, all of this will get better in the days ahead as the campaigns begin. So be rest assured that have no fear, have no worries. The Labour Party is on ground across the entire 36 states, particularly in northern Nigeria, because, of course, by the way of stakeholders, the stakeholders of this country are unanimous in their own decision even for Labour Party to be the party and for His Excellency Peter Obi to be the man of the day. I mean, the body language of the elders, the creative energies and enthusiasm of the youth who are in simple majority. I mean, it's clear that it is Labour Party. So we are structurally well composed and we're on ground, but the days ahead will prove us right.
Okay, Comrade, when I started this interview, I mentioned or made mention of problems facing Nigeria. But now we are going to stick to the educational sector, which is one of the obvious problems affecting, we Nigerians. Now, the Academic Staff Union of Universities, they embarked on a strike, and I think today makes it the 201st day of the strike. Now, obviously, this is not the way to go. This is not to be heard of from a country who claims to be the giant of Africa. So what changes will your party candidates provide to the union?
Well, basically, let us have a quick reappraisal of the issues of ASU. Sometimes in 2001, the Academic Staff Union of Research Institution, the Academic Staff Union of University, ASU, yes, they had an agreement with the federal government. Now, that agreement was to be reviewed in 2006. Now, it was at this point that there was a renegotiation of an earlier agreement reached in 2001. And the issues in contention were basically 4 issues. The issues of the condition of service of academic staff in the university, the issues of funding of the university or tertiary institution sector in Nigeria, the issues of autonomy for the universities in Nigeria. Now, the miscellaneous issues could be tied to the issues of, say, rent and so many other issues that have to do with allowances as it affects their duties. So basically, committees were set up between government and ASU, drawn from the different sectors. Now, it culminated to a point where certain decisions were reached at the time. And in 2009, this agreement was signed for implementation ultimately. Now, what has been the issue all along has been government's inability to live up to its billing in terms of the elements of the agreement reached and signed. So this has been the issue. At the time, the total sum of money required as about 2009 was about 1.5+ trillion naira. These monies were designed specifically to meet all of these needs, as it has to do with the infrastructural need of the educational sector at that level, as it had to do with a lot of funding needs for academics, research, the environment, and allowances, the kind of payment system that the university sector desired, unlike the public service payment system, which could not account for certain exigencies, like their earn allowances, their peculiar allowances, and so many other details. Now, these were issues that were unanimously agreed to and signed for implementation. But in summary, what had been the issue has been government's inability to live up to its own billing. Government cannot now fund all of these issues. Now, therein lies the problem. So what we will do, like I said, I am the National Organizing Secretary of the Academic Staff Union of Research Institutions in Nigeria, ASURI. Again, ASURI is the sister of ASU. While ASU is in the university, ASURI is in the research institution sector. Now, you agree with me that there are over 250 research institutions in Nigeria. And it is only by the implementation of the research institution mandate that the economic activities of this country can be rejigged through research, innovations, technology, development. While ASU provides the knowledge base for the economy, the research institution provides the industrial base through the knowledge acquired by way of research for implementation at this level. So there is a disconnect. So the strike we are talking about now has affected both the universities or tertiary institutions and the research institutions, because it's important and make these points very obvious and clear so that we understand the dynamics and the enormity of the challenges we have had or that we have on our hands. So what some of us did effectively from 2011 to 2020, as researchers, I led a team of researchers in Nigeria, and we developed a whole economic redirection policy and program. We took into consideration the need of the academic staff union of research institution or the educational sector. We take into consideration the financial need of the research sector. We took into consideration the industrial and infrastructural needs of Nigeria. We took into consideration the healthcare needs, the pension, the arrears, the salaries, the wages, and so many other issues that have to do with national development. And we designed this program over a 20 to 30 years funding plan, and we secured 150 billion euro. It's in evidence. The federal government of Nigeria can attest to what I'm saying right now, to say, as a researcher, working alongside my own team in the research institute sector, realizing the fact that our own activities will translate to the development of this nation by way of capacity building of the people who design all of these processes and eventually secured funding. So the solution today, I'm a party man. I began to do all of this with my people when I was not a party man. So by providence or otherwise today, I'm a party man, and I say authoritatively that we brought in the first 14.2 million euro that are stuck in Zenith Bank. But I'm aware now that a lot is being done, even from the government end, to ensure that these funds are released. But once these funds are released, we'll be able to sit with the federal government and all the relevant stakeholders and be able to finance all of these programs that we desire for national rebirth. So what Labour Party will do is what I am saying now, because like I said, by providence, today I'm a party man. And I'm part of the team that provided this solution for Nigeria, funding-wise, because what the challenge is today is our inability to fund. So again, we have the first set of funds, 150 billion euro over a 20-25 years funding tenure with a moratorium of 5 years, a marginal interest rate of 3.5%. So we'll sit down with ASU almost immediately, agree on the funding plan, agree on so many other issues that have to do with infrastructure and all the issues listed in the agreement for financing and funding. So this is what Labour Party is bringing on board. So Labour Party is bringing on board solution, all of which we have already provided, save for implementation. So again, like I said earlier, we are majoring on the 17 SDG goals. This is going to be the policy thrust of the Labour Party's administration for Nigeria. So Again, you are aware the country today is in the red. Nigeria as a country will not be able to finance infrastructure for the 2023 fiscal year. So it means we are deeper in the crisis ahead of 2023, funding-wise. So the earlier the government sit with us, get these funds released, so that we can begin to defray all of this funding to rejig our national economy, the better for this economy and its people. So this is the policy thrust and direction in which the Labour Party is already looking, because the solutions already have been provided. Today we have a lot of partners globally that are willing to partner with us. Africunia TV and its principals are our partners. I know you are aware of this. I need to say this to say yes. This is the extent to which some of us have gone way ahead before now to reach out to the global community. So we have all of this support base that the country will benefit from. So the solutions are before us. The opportunities are already with us. The leverage of being party men again is here with us. What we need to do is what we are saying. Again, I'm going into the parliament. And the parliament is a major critical stakeholder of the government, because it is the laws that we make, it is the project that we approve, that the executive will implement. Today you have people like us coming to the National Assembly who are in tandem with the reality, who are provided solution. So we know exactly what to do while in the parliament, and our presidential candidate and vice presidential candidate are willing people to who are committed to the rescue mission of Nigeria. So what we need to do in a hurry is to get into the house after the victory, begin to deploy all of these laws to empower the executive to implement. So the issue of ASU and all the mentioned issues for education, for health, we have provided solution. It's just deployment or implementation that we are waiting.
Okay, Comrade. Okay. Now, before we let you go, you emerged. Let's talk about you now. You emerged as the Edo North senatorial candidate for the Labour Party in the forthcoming 2023 election. Now, for you, what is the task at hand for the Nigerian people, and most especially the people of Edo State?
Well, basically, the work and task of a legislator is to make laws, enabling laws. Again, I'm a registered engineer, current certified. Like I said, I've been in this game for the last 25 years, from my days in the university. Having been the first executive president of the Students' Union government in Ahmadu Bello University, ABU Zaria, the largest and greatest university south of the Sahara and north of the Limpopo, ABU Zaria. Now, I am in tune with my people at home. What my people desire, again, Edo North, if you look at the mineralogical map of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Edo North, where I come from, is endowed with virtually every precious metal and non-metal for national development. Mention them: the gold, the limestone, so many other valuable iron ore. Just mention them. So what we will do is what I have said, because I am part and I led the team that provided this solution. First, rejigging the entire space by way of organizing the people. I have begun to organize my own base. Two, we are going to begin to deploy economic solution to our people through the micro, medium, and small-scale enterprises, through investment in agricultural mechanization, plant animals, and processes, the mineral exploration and exploitation of solid minerals within my constituency, such that both the state, the local government, the federal government will benefit from all of this, because what has kept us here is our inability to explore and exploit the resources we are endowed with by way of engaging the people. So basically what Eragbe Anslem will do is to ensure that we look at the laws and make the laws more functional to the point where job creation become paramount. Education will take the front seat so that we can build the capacity of our people to explore and exploit the resources we're endowed with, generate all of this through job creation and wealth generation. And in a matter of few years, we're going to take a lot of people out of poverty and begin to reposition the entire process for greatness. So this is what I will do to make legislations that will move Nigeria from a consumption economy to a production economy in line with the dictates and aspiration of our presidential candidate, His Excellency Peter Obi.
Comrade Anslem Eragbe, National Youth Leader, Labour Party. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here.
And now that's all we can take today. Do ensure to follow all our social media platforms displaying on your screen and link us up on www.africunia.tv to get more exclusive interviews like this. I am Deborah Eze. Bye for now.